Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Legal Showdown, the ultimate game show where quick fingers meet smart answers. I'm your host Tilly, part-time game show host, full-time dog mum, and today is not just any game show. Oh no. Today we're celebrating the launch of a very exciting partnership. Some are calling it a powerhouse partnership between Founders Law and Strive. Together, they're here to help businesses not only get set up in the UAE, but also stay legally sound as they grow. Joining me in the hot seats today and representing the legal side of success, it's the man who makes contracts cool, Tom Bohills, founder of Founders Law. And facing off against him, the go-to guru for getting businesses set up in the UAE, the founder of Strive, Pally Banwaite.
Thank you for having me.
Now, here's how this works. I'll fire off some questions. Whoever buzzes first with the correct answer wins the points. All right, let's get started. What are the two main reasons you think people open up businesses in the UAE?
I've got that one. I'm going to say tax. And lifestyle, actually. Lifestyle as well.
Lifestyle?
Yeah, well, I think actually, aside from the tax point, which is obviously good, year-round sunshine, amazing schools, great facilities, it's clean, it's nice. What's not to like?
Not much, by the sounds of it. What is the corporate tax rate in the UAE?
Got that as well.
He's quick.
9%.
Okay, and a bonus question here.
Yeah, go on.
At what point does this tax rate apply?
Okay, so I've got this bonus question. It's at 375,000 dirhams of net profit. That rate kicks in, but there is an exemption, which is that up until 2027, if your total revenue is under 3 million, you're exempt.
Very good. Yeah, very nice. Tom, you are off to a strong start. What are the different types of companies you can own and need to consider before launching your application?
So there's essentially three types of companies you can open in Dubai. The first is what's called a mainland company. Then you have an option of what's called a free zone company. And slightly lesser known and sort of fading out now is an offshore entity as well.
And can you tell me, for an extra point, as we need to catch up, what is the benefit of opening each type and potential key considerations?
Sure. So a mainland company is basically a local entity which is a limited liability company which allows you to trade inside the UAE with the other UAE registered businesses or individuals, and it also continues to let you trade overseas with international parties. Free zone companies, however, they are designed to only allow you to trade with international parties and other free zone registered businesses. So they're slightly more suited to individuals that are looking to move their global headquarters or global business and footprint to the UAE, you see. And so, and offshore companies are lesser known, but they're normally just designed simply to hold assets and normally quite straightforward setup and quite low cost to do, but can be quite tricky getting a bank account for those in the UAE these days. So there's a little bonus tip as well for people.
The go-to guru, everyone. Right, on to the next. If you want to open a company in the UAE, what's the main document you need to obtain to start operating?
Is it a trade license agreement?
It is a trade license agreement.
Come on.
Okay, but what is a trade license agreement and how many different types are there in the UAE?
So a trade license agreement is basically evidence that you've actually got a company established in the country. These are issued by either Dubai Economic Department if you're setting up a company in Dubai mainland, or by other free zone jurisdictions. They'll issue their own version of a trade license. Normally it specifies who the general manager of the company is. It specifies the business activity that the company is meant to be operating within the boundaries of. And it's similar to what we refer to as maybe a certificate of incorporation in other parts of the world. And so when you're, say, signing up for a tender or pitching for something, they'll normally ask you for a copy of the trade license to be submitted as well. And normally you renew it annually as well, especially if you've got a mainland company. It's an annual renewal of the trade license that you have to do.
Right. If you open a company in the UAE, how many times do you have to visit to keep it open?
I've got this one. 0. So you don't actually have to visit, but a lot of people who set up companies out there become residents. And if they want to keep their residence permit, they've got to be travelling there and entering the country at least once every 180 days. So once every 6 months, in and out, have a nice beer at Goose Island, straight back out again, and you're all good.
Good to see you've got your priorities straight.
That's it, escape the kids.
What are some of the most common challenges businesses face when setting up in the UAE? Oh, we'll give it to you, Pally.
Okay, so generally the devil's in the detail. Early planning is very important. The first thing is working out where to set your company up. There's different free zones. Or is a mainland option more suitable is very important. Then we need to work out the share structure. Is there going to be a corporate shareholder? If there is, then you need to talk about things like legalization of corporate documents from where those entities are registered and so forth. And so that will give us a good idea of the timeline. So early planning is very, very important. People sometimes think it's going to be a lot easier at the beginning until you really get into the detail. And so the sooner you can get started, the sooner you can get a pre-approval for your company to be opened by whichever jurisdiction you're interested in going for. But yeah, very much so, early planning, getting the right jurisdiction, and then working out the right activities to put in your trade license is also very important, and going through that government database of activities to see which ones are the best fit for you as well. Yeah.
That is why Strive are the go-to for this. Tom, do you have anything to kind of expand on that?
Pretty good. That was pretty good. I was going to talk about structure and activities. I think the only thing I would say is employment is quite knotty in the area. So it's not like the UK, it's not a lift and shift. You've essentially got, different employment contracts for different free zones. They've got all kind of slightly funky things in there, like end of service gratuity payments, there's set rules on annual leave. So I would say get that right, because you don't want to start scaling in the region with an employee or 2 or 3 or 4 employees and suddenly realise their contracts are wrong.
How will this partnership benefit companies looking to expand in the UAE?
I think just from our experience, we've got hundreds of clients on our books. Many of them, once they start, it's fairly straightforward, opening up a company, getting your residency permit. But when you start trading, many clients don't quite understand exactly what legal documents are required when it comes to employment contracts, service agreements, even things like co-founder agreements, IP assignment, all these, there's a myriad of things there, and you're in a completely different country to where you may be used to operating. Like you mentioned lift and shift, earlier, and so we think that a lot of our clients struggle for good quality advice, which is accurate and good value for money as well. So this is where this partnership hopefully comes and solves that problem.
That's a wrap. Thank
Great.
you for attending.
What was the score?
Yeah, what was the score?
The score is a draw.
Till the next time.
Yeah, exactly.